Hello again, this is Vanilla and Pepper Adventure Team. This time we are taking you to Coba, one of the most important Mayan places on the Yucatan map. We will check if this place is worth visiting. Is it still possible to climb the highest pyramid in Yucatan? And why Coba keeps electrifying visitors all the time? If you want to keep up to date with our reports, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell. Our plan of sightseeing is rent a rickshaw and quick way to the highest Nohoc-Mul pyramid, returning to the biggest attractions on this place, the Coba group at the entrance. And if the water and the time allow, we will return to two interesting spots along the way. Cars and buses are parked in a large parking lot just outside the entrance to the archaeological area. You will find souvenir shop and pubs there. You can buy insect repellent here, which will become your best friend, and the water. At the entrance, we buy a ticket for 75 Mexican pesos. We continue our walk for about 300 meters, observing the beauty of wild nature and fragments of buildings from the Coba group. We will talk about the groups in more detail later in the tour. We come to the place where we are decided whether we are going on foot or maybe we choose a bicycle or a rickshaw. The cost of renting a rickshaw is 160 pesos for a return trip. A bicycle is 80 pesos. Even bikes for children are available. Due to the limited time we have for sightseeing and the fact that we travel with children, we choose a rickshaw. The distance to the Nohoc-Mul group of monuments, where the highest Yucatan pyramid is located, is about 2.5 kilometers. The heat is unmerciful and the location of Coba between 5 lakes means that we feel moisture at the level of 100%. Before coming, check the weather condition. We came after the enormous rainfall, after which we saw only flooded place, but the local guide confirmed our assumptions. A few days ago, all area was flooded and they could go kayaking. The whole area is divided in 5 groups, 4 of which are open to visitors. On the way we pass some interesting places from Group C and D to which we'll return at the end of the tour, including a pelota field or a place with several platforms and stills. The first and also the largest group, a B that you have seen from a drone called Coba, in our opinion the greatest discovery in Coba. The second to which we are heading is Group A, called Nohoc-Mul, which has the highest pyramid of the same name and several smaller buildings and stills. And the history of Coba. Coba in pre-Columbian time was probably called Quinchil Coba, referring to the name of the Mayan solar deity and the term associated with the words Cob, cloudy, and Ha, weather, which gave the term places of cloudy weather, which would be confirmed by the fact of frequent flooding by neighboring lakes. Coba is unlike any other Mayan city in the Yucatan. Architecturally, it's much more similar to the city of Tikal, located in Guatemala, over 1,000 kilometers away. Coba and Tikal were linked by the marriage of rulers to facilitate trade between the Maya, today's Guatemala, and the Yucatan. The stills seem to depict the ruler of Tikal, women standing on captives holding ritual canes in their hands and flaunting their power. The rulers brought native architects and artists with them. During its heyday, the city had a population of over 50,000 of people and was an important political, commercial, and ceremonial center. Coba still has around 6,000 buildings, of which only 1% is open to the public. Interestingly, the city was inhabited until the arrival of the Spanish conquistadors. It was never discovered by them. Grupo Nohoc-Mul, which is the Mayan language means big high mount. This zone includes the aforementioned 42-meter high pyramid called El Castillo, the highest pyramid in the Yucatan. It was built in the classical period. It also has elements from the 13th and 14th centuries, such as a sanctuary with a smaller altar worshipping the descending god, similar to the Tulum. Nohoc-Mul was built probably to honor the divinity of the ruler Coba and to serve as the resting place of the member of the royal house. The Yucatan jungle still hides a lot of undiscovered treasure. One thing is for sure, almost 90% of the roads built by Maya passed through Coba for some reason. 45 of 50 roads, which in the Mayan language were called Sagbe, the Holy White Road, cross here. Sagbe is a vast network of embankment roads covered with rolled lime mortar and linked the center of outer regions. It's remarkable that these roads were as much as 10 meters wide in some places, and one of them more than 100 kilometers long, led to the Yucatan Cultural Center. Technically speaking, the Mayans build is definitely more solid than the Romans. The Coba Group B, located between the Coba and Macangsog lakes, it includes the Acropolis, a pelot court, palace and residential building, stele with inscription, and above all, 24-meter high pyramid called the church, in Mexican La Iglesia. This name was given to the building by contemporary inhabitants of the area, especially hunters and farmers, who still pray here and light candles and make sacrifices to the ancient god in front of the stele at the foot of the pyramid. Right next to the inn, building 4, an internal passage with arched wall has been preserved. In the area of the soccer field, archaeologists found a sacrificial deposit from the early classical period. It includes items made of jade, obsidian, iron, and shells. Another group of building Group D consists mainly of the Temple of Paintings, the second ball playground in the city, and several smaller East Coast temples. The Temple of the Painting is a building whose interior is decorated with pictographic motifs. It should be emphasized here that most of the temples and pyramids in Coba were richly decorated both inside and outside. The walls were covered with decoration modeled in stucco, painted mainly in a red color. A large number of stone slabs with glyphic inscription and features of dignitaries and captured prisoners have been discovered near the soccer field. As such, facilities matches were played, after which the players were rewarded with the points, thanks to which they could get a pass to the Grande Finale, which took place every 20 years in Chichen Itza. Victory in Chichen Itza meant the biggest prize, the possibility to move to the next level. Unfortunately, going to the next level meant going through the gate of death.
The winner team, the team that can do that first, they take only the captain of the team, and that's the one that becomes a semi-god and wins a ticket to get to the big ball game that happens in Chichen Itza. Okay? Now, in Chichen Itza, the ball game happens only once every 20 years. Not every year. It wasn't the Super Bowl.
Pyramid on 4 roads. Another interesting structure is a pyramid with rounded corners and stairs that were rather decorative. It rises in a place called Saibe, or at the crossroads because this is where the four Sagbe roads meet. Presumably, it functioned as a kind of signpost or border point. This is the end of our visit to Coba. Let me know if you liked the movie. Leave a thumb up and subscribe to our channel. More reports from Mexico are coming soon. Saluto!